Hello, and welcome to another episode of playing Crusader Kings 3 on the most challenging rule set, starting as Duchess Matilda of Tuscany in 1066. So, in the last episode, we broke free of the Holy Roman Empire by winning our independence war, and the main reason we undertook that independence war is because King Robert the Fox of Sicily, one of the Hotvilles down here, who starts as a duke, had become a scourge conqueror. He'd already taken the Neue Kingdom of Romagna, at least a part of it that belonged in the Holy Roman Empire, and our great concern is that he would attack Italy next and take all of that territory, which is where nearly all of our counties are located, except for this one over here. If he did that, we would likely lose all of this land. We would have become a one county ruler over here, and we would have had serious difficulties in advancing. So instead, we broke free from the HRE with the idea of doing something that would prevent King Robert of Sicily from attacking us. And what that is, there are, I think, at least three options. One is to form an alliance with him, which I believe we could still, well, we might still be able to do. Actually, I doubt it at this point, given that we already have an alliance and his children are all older, so they're probably already betrothed. Another is to become his tributary. And that's certainly an option. As a tributary, you remain an independent ruler, and so you can also break easier, generally speaking, to break free of being a tributary. Sometimes a tributary relationship ends when the suzerain dies. The other option is to become his vassal. So usually you actually pay less taxes being a vassal than being tributary. And the other benefit of being a vassal is that it becomes easier to attack counties within his realm. The downside is that we'd be blocked from getting a title equal to his. And you see here, at the moment, he is only a king. That would mean that if we became his vassal, we would not be able to get a king level title at the moment. But I don't think that's too big of a problem. My guess is that he will relatively shortly attack the Kingdom of Italy that's in the Holy Roman Empire. At that point, he ought to have enough land to form the Empire of Italia. At that point, we would try to be, assuming he doesn't hold it, we would try to form the Kingdom of Italia or some other king level title. And also, we are on relatively good relations with the Pope, hopefully still, yes, plus 100. And we are also getting toward sanction loopholes here, where we could buy a claim on an existing king level title. If we won that war, we would then become independent again, and at that point we could consider becoming King Robert's tributary, or again, if he's an emperor, we would still be his vassal. But I think our best option here is to swear fealty to him, hopefully with low taxes and feudal obligations, yes. And from within that, we'll see what kind of land we can claim. We do have a number of claims from when we lost our land that was contained within the Northern Empire of Romagna, so we can start pursuing those, slowly increasing our power here. So bottom line is, I think we become a vassal of Sicily. One thing to note, I've talked about in prior series, is that if a kingdom has 160 counties or more, then you can attack their vassals without the ultimate liege being able to join. But I'm fairly sure at this point that King Robert here does not reach that threshold. Holy Roman Empire might. So we could potentially see if we can attack some vassals in the Holy Roman Empire. But in the meantime, we'll join the Kingdom of Sicily and see what we can do to become the most powerful vassal within it, and potentially get a king level title sooner or later. We're swearing fealty, no taxes, a levy contribution. There we go. I want to do that immediately before we unpause, just so he doesn't get any ideas about attacking us. And with that, we will move on from here. Making a little bit less in taxes because we increase the size of our military. Let's let the peasant revolt fire, and then we'll start looking around at what we can do. You can see here that many of these counties in Spoleto, Arezzo are just single counties that we could take back. So that is something we can do. As you may know, that Duchess Matilda starts with a big chunk of this land, but again, we lost it when we lost it to King Robert. Didn't want to lose any more land to him, so that's why we are now part of Sicily. Ransoming some of these people who we captured during our war with the Holy Roman Empire, and getting some vassals. That's good. Don't think these peasants have much of a chance of prevailing here, but down. The other way someone could attack your vassals is if you're in a civil war, either from a peasant faction or from a faction of your vassals. But it's good to keep those in mind, as they're ways to chip away and expand into a large realm that you might not otherwise be able to attack if the ultimate liege is too powerful. See here that this Scourge Conqueror is attacking Holy Roman Empire again. He had originally conquered Germany, but then mostly rebelled against him, became independent, and rejoined the Holy Roman Empire. And so now he's attacking it again. So there'll probably be some back and forth between the HRE and that Scourge Conqueror who's up here in Lutetia. So you have two Scourge Conquerors that are big threats to the HRE. Obviously not a good position for them. We're going to make sure that we educate our children, including influencing their personality, giving them the best personality traits we can. Here, this character, try to make stewardship. As you've seen from my prior campaigns, I really like having a stewardship character early on to build buildings in your domain, really build up your power, get more gold, set a foundation for building up your army, expanding from there. But I think it's always good to play tall for a lifetime or even two. Fortunately, we did not succeed in making him diligent, which is a big stat increase. Maybe we search for secrets in King Robert's capital. See if we can get a hook on him, improve our contract even more, or get hooks on others that might help. Just have two more people we can ransom, which we only get a quarter of the gold, as if we're playing on normal. But, quarter of the gold is better than 0 gold, so we will ransom them. Almost would have been better if we had just taken that county, perhaps. And then we would have had 3 counties in the Duchy of Tuscany, maybe give away some of these up here. But not much concern about it now. Let's see who else. Next ally to Robert. Okay, I guess the other reason to get a hook would be to change our contract so we have sanctioned war declaration. I guess King Robert has sufficiently high. Yep, high crown authority. Okay, well. I think let's just give them more levies. It's barely a change. In exchange, we get sanctioned war declarations, partly because he's not our rightful liege at the moment. Now we can start attacking some of these little counties, bringing them under our control. Hoping won't need to call in the allies to win these wars, but you never know. Should have. I think they have sufficiently little gold that they won't be able to hire mercenaries. Let's see. Son. That's 3 sons. Okay. And so here you see exactly what I was concerned about. King Robert is attacking the HRE for the Kingdom of Italy. If we would have still been in the HRE, we would have almost certainly lost all of our land, except for this one little county over here in Corsica, to this war. So really we got out of the HRE just in time. Obviously you don't want to really evaluate decisions, after the fact, because you want to base on what the knowledge is you have. You make the decision, but looking at our decision declaring it's after the fact, clearly you made the correct decision. Because really don't want to play as a one county ruler and potentially become landless. Instead, we will expand under the protective umbrella of King Robert the Scourge Conqueror. So if my sons are old enough, I will give them some of this land. Especially since our second and third sons are going to be clamoring for it. Seeking land as part of our succession. But since they're so young, for now I'll see if there are other family members I can give it to. Not really any good ones. Man. Alright, well. Enjoy your land. Quite terrible character here. Just looking to see what else we can grab here. take the piety and learning lifestyle experience. Let's also get our control up in some of these areas. Go back to assist ruler. We had our husband on chivalry because we were fighting to break free of the HRE. Very close to sanction loopholes here, and then we can start looking up in the Kingdom of Italy, see what it looks like after King Robert conquers it, which is virtually assured. Also start swaying someone. The Pope already loves us, so we might as well sway our liege here. King Robert, and see if he'll point us to positions, give us other benefits. Learning lifestyle experience, which we have an extremely high chance of getting. See Robert here chasing the HRE forces. Have goal to build a building. Again, we want to focus on Florence and Siena, since those are both in the Duchy of Tuscany. They both have powerful, unique buildings. We want to hold on to them for the entirety of our run. We want them to be as powerful as possible. So our daughters, very unlikely to be our heirs, given that we have 3 sons now, so I would just keep the gold. If it was one of my sons, probably would have used it to further education. One of the things very important about your children is making sure you have a good tutor, put them on educate children to improve their skills, good wet nurse. I usually put them in instill virtue to get virtuous personality traits. Then a seneschal that we have on organized court to improve the aptitude of your tutor and wet nurse. Again, probably be playing at least 4 characters in this campaign, so we really want our children to be well educated. Okay, so we see that Duke Robert, just won the war for Italy. Presumably he'll be giving away these counties here, and then we can mop them up. Almost to sanction loopholes. I have to see if he decides to become an emperor now. If it doesn't, there are ways of keeping our realm together using feudal elective. So I see him in real time giving away these counties. Okay. That would have been nice to know before I already modified our vassal contract, but okay, he's granting us some vassals. That's good. Not sure why he's granting us these vassals, but okay. Happy to take them. Happy to become more powerful. And we won't be able to form the Kingdom of Italy at the moment, but perhaps soon. There is sanctioned loopholes, very useful. Okay, a bit weird that guy is. You see the Kingdom of Moldavia, okay. See the Byzantines here seem to be struggling a bit. Civil wars, not terribly surprising. Looks like Croatia is also having a civil war. Lifestyle experience. I think we will go on this hunt while we think about what we want to do next. We need a mountaineer for this. Okay. What? A bit odd that the Almoravids here were able to attack Bavaria and take it, but obviously they did. They really had just a massive army. I mean, it's a lot of mercenaries, but the concern is, okay, so Robert just became emperor. That's good to know. That means we are good to become king or queen. Just a few more counties. Fine. Wait some out of this activity. Just make sure actually that, yeah, so the Kingdom of Italy title hasn't yet been created, so we can create it. Become a queen. Get a significant increase to our power. I am worried about the Almoravids. It's quite odd for them. I think we'll just ignore this. See if we get a point of intrigue. Reminds me before we ransom those captives, we should have tortured them for dark insights. We'll torture these people for dark insights. Enough gold, Grand Tour would be nice at some point. Those are very profitable normally. We'll pass in this grand tournament. Again, if we were male and could participate in all the events, that would be different. But we're not, of course, so it's just unfortunate. Option is to pay for hooks, but not just hooks themselves. Let's take a look at our children again. Hopefully he'll become diligent. This son, prefers intrigue and martial. We'll make him martial. Also try to make him diligent. He succeeded with one of them. We will become a journaler. Use that to get down our stress. Always good to have a positive stress relief trait. Guess we'll give he already has, okay, 3 domains, so is that better than some of our own lands? Probably is. Just thinking about whether we hold on to Cremona up here. I do think eventually it would be generating more gold than Brescia or Mantua. The issue is just the control. Need 3 more counties. Okay. Should not be a big issue, I don't think. This guy has very few troops and he's in debt, so just an obvious target. Should be a fairly easy war. got an actual secret instead of just the opportunity to pay for one. Okay, talked before about generally don't like going to coronations unless it's coronation of my liege, which here it is. So we will again try to advocate for our domain so we can get increase in development, other benefits. I think it's fine if we're a little bit late. Slowly building up to becoming Queen of Italy. I guess, is there anything useful we can do? He is wounded. Not sure there's too much useful we can do with our hook. Obviously, the Holy Roman Empire is really looking terrible. There we go. You know, all of our domain counties got a good amount of development, which is helpful. I mean, here we've already altered our contract, so he shouldn't be able to alter it again. I think it's worth trying to get that gold. It's a lot of gold, and we got it. So that's very helpful. Do that. So again, let's extend our prayer for wealth because we are going to be focused on doing a lot of building. We can do this because we're both zealous and we're also theologian. You know, a lot of piety, a lot of stress loss. Just a good thing to do. I think making the Emperor Robert our friend is a good choice there. Friends with our liege. I don't think these detractors really concern me, and you know, major supporters include the Pope, so we will pride our oath in utter devotion. Not sure if he swore an oath exactly. Let's take the prestige. Certainly don't want to become Shisha. We'll just take the prestige here. Okay, he did not swear an oath. All right. Oh. See how things go. Up here, opportunity to get this gold. Just too much to pass up. So we'll just take it and have some courtiers be upset at me. Generally not a huge deal. Hopefully no one tries to murder us. Always a bit risky to take that decision on the plants or food there, but you know, we're already at plus 100 to him. We should probably just sway someone else. No need to undertake a bunch of activities to make him like us. Guess if we have any vassals that do not like us, like this guy, we should just sway him instead. Wonder if we could fabricate a hook on him and get more gold. We'll see. Doesn't look too likely. Just to be clear, I talk about fabricating a hook on him and getting more gold. I mean, fabricating a hook on him so we can change his contract, which would give us more gold. You have 88 troops and 0 gold. You are definitely about to be attacked. So, also a good thing about joining King Robert, now Emperor Robert's realm, when he took over the rest of Italy from the Holy Roman Empire, left behind all these small, weak counties that are easy for us to vacuum up. The scholar trait, which is useful. I think we'll get some of the whole of body traits. See if I can get a hook here. He doesn't like me very much, which is why I guessed he was in fact plotting against me. We'll use our hook to get some more gold from him in combination with reducing his levies. Do now have enough gold to make the queen / king title. As long as we don't die of plague. Okay. We will enter seclusion and also isolate our capital because that plague is right on our doorstep. We'll wait a while before paying homage or trying to petition. Emperor Robert. Okay, plague sent to us by Satan, so we'll try some mystical treatments here. Pass on the feast. That's unfortunate. Would have been nice if our physician would have done his job there. Let's put him on controlled plagues. Try not to get this plague. It's a major plague, easily could kill us if we contracted it. That is an interesting decision by our liege. I guess he's thinking that this Scourge Conqueror is already another war, but looks like this other Scourge Conqueror has more troops, more gold. They're both exalted warlords, so yeah, AI gonna AI. Probably turn Prime Master back to disrupting schemes against us. Generally want to give counties to people with high stewardship, so produce more gold. Let's just confirm here that we just need one more county. That's correct. Who will it be? You look like a very strong candidate. Yep. So after I take this county, well, if there wasn't a plague in our land, what I would do is see if we could go on a grand tour. It'd be a grand taxation tour. And then after that, that should generate enough gold on its own to pay for creating the kingdom level title. But since because we have the plague, it's a dicier question what we want to do. So this will be difficult to manage the stress of our current heir. Those two together can really get a lot of stress, but you also get a lot of stats. Ambitious is +5 stats total. Diligent is +8, so he's going to be a much stronger character than otherwise. So pluses and minuses. Hope certainly is willing to give us a lot of claims. The other thing we should think about is buying a claim using our sanctioned loopholes and our piety here. We could, for example, buy a claim in the Kingdom of Croatia. Not sure. Development overall is kind of low. So let's make sure we buy. Well, let's at least seriously consider buying a kingdom level title before we form Italy here. Okay. Lost our caravan master. Definitely need to replace her. I think that's all good. I mean, this plague isn't really hitting our land except for County of Spoleto down there. Let's take a look at how much a grand tour would cost. May simply be too much money. Actually, no. Wouldn't cost too much money at all. I mean, we're going to have 10 stops, so I don't think we need to increase the starting success of our tour. It is going to be quite dangerous. So we'll hire some mercenary guards and also bring medical equipment. For prestige, so that's too much money, I think, to increase the prestige. So I think this looks pretty good, actually. Let's give it a shot. I definitely want to do justice to increase control. Okay. I think this will be well worth doing. Get up to 500 gold. And again, we can start thinking about looking at the wrong stat for him, but I guess we'll leave him in place. So, upside here is 150 renown. Downside is losing some prestige. I think it's worth giving it a shot, even though it didn't work. Okay. So, not a great start to our grand tour, but hopefully it will get better. This one's a bit trickier because there's a chance of we getting wounded. Let's take this chance. It didn't fail, but we also didn't get wounded, so check out this son. I think Make him stewardship as well. Survey the lands almost certainly to get more gold. Oh, we need to create another duchy title. I believe we only hold one. We need 2 duchy titles. Yep, to form the king level title. So that second option, since it has positive benefits and doesn't cost us gold. Just avoid them. Don't want to get wounded. Increases taxes to us and get the gold. Let's see if we can increase his taxes even more. He refuses, so move on. That sometimes has negative effects, but looks like it worked okay there. I mean, generally it's good because you want more control. The AI is often poor at establishing control, so if you get modifiers to help them, that benefits you. So we got our renown there, which is good. Not sure you actually get wounded for failing that event, even though it says you do. Try the window tax, they almost always refuse. So our taxation toward success is almost already at level 4. We'll spend the money to rebuild because that gives us development benefits. Let's look at our sons again. Now, since we're being on the Grand Tour, is a good place to try to give them traits because it normally gives us stress, but here any stress will get rid of quickly. So I guess I should not have doubted our liege. It looks like he won his war against this other scourge conqueror. Yeah, it took this piece of Africa here. So he's still in good health. It's partly because Robert the Fox starts with robust, but also scourge-of-the-gods gives a quote-unquote godlike health boost. So traditionally, scourge conquerors live quite a while. The introduction of elder traits actually hurt scourge conquerors a bit because at least a decline. You can get the withered mind trait and so forth that causes them to be worse. Elder bones or weakened bones. It literally takes years off your projected lifespan, and so the elder trait actually makes the scourge conquerors a bit weaker than they were before. But of course, they also make the players a bit weaker as well, since you get the elder traits as well. Let's try this. Okay. Extra control is always nice. Looks like our liege is going to take over Croatia himself. Let's form the Duchy of Lombardy here. Or usurp it. Okay. We need a second duchy title to form the title of the King of Italy. Probably get some more vassals here. Let's look. I assume the plague is over, so we can end our isolation. Okay, Robert hasn't formed the Kingdom of Italy yet, which is good. Not sure when Robert took over Germany here, but he clearly has. Did I just miss that, or? Oh, I see. Okay, so it was Moldavia over here that held Germany, and Robert took it from him. You can see that Moldavia, with that loss to Robert, maybe he had some other losses earlier in his career, but he no longer has the Scourge-Conqueror trait. One way of causing someone to lose the Scourge-Conqueror trait is if that person loses 3 wars. So later in the game, when we have stronger military, hopefully the ability to fight against Scourge Conquerors, we want to inflict as many losses and wars on them as possible. So if they lose that trait and pose far less of a threat to us. Here, like being a poet, we'll try. Didn't work. Got some stress, but that easily should be able to get rid of that stress as we go on with our Grand Tour. I don't want to become superstitious. Increases your stress. Like a lot of my marshals are dying. So we don't need, I guess we'll take the opinion. Didn't need stress loss. The prestige would have been nice, but it hurts his opinion with us, so don't want to spend gold on these people. Medium health boost and stress gain minus 20% is a very valuable benefit. Lost our tutor, but she was replaced with someone who was equally good, so that's fine. So wishing well for the extra stress loss. Okay, so I didn't realize there is a massive smallpox plague in our lands. It's a minor smallpox plague, which hopefully means that we won't die from it. Let's change from scholarship focus to medicine focus for the small health boost. And hope we live. Also, it would be nice if our children lived. Don't want to pay gold to this person. We'll do the top option. The probabilities weren't that great, so nice to see our eldest daughter with 4-star education. Hopefully our sons will also get a 4-star education. Our sons recovered from smallpox. Would be good if we recovered from smallpox. Not good that our physician just died. Let's try to get a good physician. Okay. That is quite annoying. We just paid for this woman and then she immediately disappears. Guess we can take the hook here. We'll just make this guy our physician, I guess. Okay, our recover from smallpox. Obviously, that's very good. Did inherit this county over here that I don't think we really want to keep. So we give it to this person who's probably going to die soon. Probably cause us to get it back. Looking for the highest chance there. Happy to get the prestige and lose the stress. He's attacking King Heinrich again, specifically to go after Bohemia. See that Italia has almost swallowed up the Holy Roman Empire. Again, once we are done with our grand tour, let's take a look about whether we want to get a claim on a kingdom. Take the top option. And just to be clear on that, once we form a kingdom, then we really can't use sanction loopholes to buy a claim on another kingdom. I think the Pope is either will not or simply has a big negative modifier to giving you claims on another kingdom if you already have a king level title. I don't really want this guy to become my rival and try to murder me. It's only 4 stress. I'm trying to fabricate a hook on this guy so I can get him to pay more taxes, improve his contract in my favor. Do we need to isolate the capital again? I think so. Guess I'll take this strong hook. Not sure what I would ever use it for, but all right. And you see, we get plenty of renown. Get this incredibly powerful modifier. So all good stuff from our grand tour. Grand tours are very powerful. Well worth doing when you get a chance. Okay, now let's take a little while and just think. So I was thinking about Bavaria, if it existed, getting a claim on its kingdom title, but obviously it does not exist. Lithuania does not exist, Burgundy. And so in terms of getting a claim on a title, we need to claim, we need there to be an existing title for us to claim. I mean, we've talked about Hungary before. The issue is that it's landlocked and also currently controlled by this guy who, even though he's not a scourge conqueror anymore, he's incredibly powerful. He's still an exalted warlord. Just don't think there's any chance of us being able to do that. That is to say, being able to defeat him. Croatia, kingdom title no longer exists. Assume the Byzantines don't have many king titles. Nope. I don't think we want to get too cute and try to take over Egypt. It's probably, yeah, I think this is the Scourge Conqueror right here. You can see he's quite young. Doesn't have any parents. He just truly appeared from nowhere. Beating up on the Byzantines, who really aren't looking so good. France seems like it's just, wow, well, man. He has a lot of gold, so. I assume the Pope is not going to give us, no. So if the Pope gives you a claim on a kingdom title, it's a pressed claim, meaning that claim, your heirs, or at least your direct children, will have an unpressed claim on that title. If you use sanctioned loopholes to buy a claim, then you only get an unpressed claim, meaning that it goes away once you die and your heirs don't inherit it, unless you do something to try to enforce the claim and make it a pressed claim. So particularly if we're thinking about using sanctioned loopholes to buy a king title, we want something that we can enforce during our lifetimes. And you know, it's very powerful to do, but honestly, I'm just not seeing a great candidate here. Even though the Almoravids lost to Robert, they still have a scourge conqueror, so that makes me very wary about going into Iberia, because they could very quickly start moving up Iberia. You know, the other thing is, you know, Robert's still good health, but he is getting old. And when he dies, there's no guarantee his heir will actually inherit the conqueror trait. Now, to be very clear, in our game rules, as I showed to begin with, we have increased conqueror frequency, scourge-of-the-gods, and then for conqueror inheritance, all we have on all heirs inherit. Now, you see that, you might think, well, that means whenever Robert dies, you know, his heir is, you know, definitely going to inherit, so long as they're independent and, you know, not a minor. But that's not actually how it works. Sometimes the heirs, even the primary heir, just doesn't inherit the Scourge Conqueror trait. Not sure why, not sure if it's tied to personality traits or whatever, but that's clearly the way it works. Yeah, you know, we've taken some time here, and I've been staring at this map. I just don't see a great candidate that I really want to use to buy a kingdom level claim on. I guess that is that still an independent? No. So this guy is now under King Robert. And you know, the other issue is you get a king level title, you get in a whole bunch of new vassals, many of whom may not be your culture. And again, we're playing with, you know, two levels, two rules that increase vassal discontent, very hard, and lesser realm stability. So I think we've, you know, thought about it enough. It just is not worth getting a claim on a king level title. Instead, we are simply going to form the Kingdom of Italy, and you'll manage that. I think what we will want to do, we've talked about in the first episode, is probably take some of the Swabian land so we can hybridize with them. Just looking to see, we can look around and see if there are other areas that we might have even, you know, better cultural traditions or be more advanced. But I've talked before, I really like industrious. It's just a very powerful trait. Getting water mills and windmills really increase your income. So I think that's what we'll do here. Let it run. We'll get our crown. Hopefully it'll be decent. And then we'll put up our house and dynasty banners. Don't think we have anything else now. See, we get another domain limit, so we'll get close to being, you know, getting up to being within domain limit. If we went on a university trip, that might get us there. Here, really want a vassal opinion modifier. Keeping my vassals happy is one of the most important things. Speaking of vassals, I think Robert's going to grant us quite a few here. All the ones under our title. That's a long trip. How much danger is involved there? A lot. Okay, we're not going to go to that feast. It's just too far away. Too much danger involved. We'll sit here and collect our vassals and hope that they don't all decide to join factions and rise against us. Again, yeah, not worth going there as a woman. Would be different if I were a man. That is unfortunate. Hopefully okay, good. My personal position was able to get rid of it. So, brave is a strong choice here. I think that's very likely what it's going to be. Zealous is good as well. Even calm is okay. I think I just like brave. The extra prowess is helpful in tournaments, among other things. So let's see about. See if we can make him zealous. This one we'll try to make diligent. In terms of our heir here, normally a character in CK3 has 3 personality traits, but if you are their guardian, you can try to give them a 4th personality trait by influencing their personality. However, that is the maximum. You won't be able to give them any more traits than that, so no 5th or more traits. Probably going to be stressed out here, but I don't think that's a big deal. And we'll have ways to get rid of our stress. See here, we're making a good bit more monthly income. So far, no one, not seeing, no factions. I am genuinely sort of surprised here. So this is our daughter. I don't think we need to use her for alliance. We had our younger daughter do that. So instead, we will see using her for our genetics program. And that looks like a good match. Man who's intelligent. So while we're at it, let's look at our son. He just has very few options in terms of women with genetic traits, all of whom are quite, over 35. So there's not a single child he could marry. All right, I'll have to see what happens as he gets closer to coming of age. So now, here we're largely waiting for our crown to be finished so we can hold our coronation. But I think I'm happy to join our friend's funeral here. We're always good friends with the Pope. I actually did know him. This won't be one of those things where you go to the funeral of someone you've never heard of. So I'm still married to him. Yeah, so that's just a bit of a weird sort of bug, really. I think for this martial perk, you know, serve the crown, get control growth, get dread, cause people not to be as willing to join factions or rebel against us. You know, both those make sense to me. I think mourn is good here. You know, we do have a good bit of stress, so get rid of it this way. You know, one thing I often forget to do is host or go to funerals because it doesn't appear. Yes, we do have, no, we still don't have a crown. Okay. So we'll, you know, take the piety and stress loss. Take the piety here. We will, okay, our position did his work, so that's good. We'll take the piety here. You know, very little stress gained for it. Okay. Take the Duchess Matilda. And now he's going to give us some more vassals. So, yeah, no, you got to hand it to, yeah, again, you know, you shouldn't make decisions in retrospect. You need to make decisions based on the information you have at the time you make them. I think at the time we made the decision to break free of the HRE and become, you know, at that point, King Robert's vassal. You know, that was the correct decision. But, you know, if you look at it in retrospect, it's even more obvious that, you know, that was clearly the correct thing to do. Also, we get plague. Usually I go carefree and mineral resilience first, but we've had so many issues with plagues. I think I want to get wash your hands first. So we still don't have our crown quite yet, but it's getting there. It's interesting, you know, my legitimacy is not even very good, and yet not having any rebellions. So, you know, frankly, this succession, I mean, I think it's okay. You know, we lose one county. It's not a huge deal. It's not, you know, one of our important counties, which are primarily Florence and Siena. We really want to make sure we don't lose those. You know, we lose those two duchies. You know, really fine. Like, I'm fairly happy with what our succession looks like at the moment. All right, we will host our coronation. Fortunately, the crown, not that great. So I don't think we need to impress the attendees, since, you know, there's just no one who is in factions against us. So I tend to like exalt the crown when that isn't necessary. Could try embrace supporters. I don't know that I've ever actually done that. Exalt the crown is usually better when you have a lot of artifacts. Maybe let's try embrace supporters. I honestly don't know what it will do. Don't think we need to spend a huge amount of money on this. Let's just go with level 2 for each, the default. So let's take another look at our 2 key counties here and building them up. Can we build? I think we could save up, get a tax office in Florence. Okay, temperate, very strong. Let's virtue, gives small health boost, gives stewardship. So always like picking that when I can. So because I became a queen, my the effective limit on the number of children I can have increased by 1. So we're going to be having 1 more child, probably a boy. That will mess up that good succession I was talking about, but we can just make another duchy and that should be okay. Man, so the Almoravids doing their weird thing where they're attacking lands quite far away from their main realm. Let's see, what are we doing here? What does it mean to not forget something? Oh, they're in our vassals' realms. That's interesting. I don't want to pay gold to them. Huh. Man. Let's try it. I didn't get architect. It's unfortunate. I don't understand why these people... Okay, well... We won't let them destroy our magnificence. But that does mean we need to start filling out our... when you get right, we need to start filling out the positions, the court positions that prevent people from murdering us. When you get rivals, they often try to murder you. We don't want to be murdered. Probably need better bodyguards. We'll take this, relatively good brooch here. Let's see if we can make it work. We do. Good. So again, I still think a prayer for wealth is the choice here. Looks like our magnificence is not going to be that great. Usually I give in when people ask for benefits if it does not cost me anything. So if they just want piety, I have to give it to them. I guess we'll find a new order, just for 100 piety. That makes a lot of sense. Interesting. I think we probably are going to do that. Yep. Okay. Mostly because of the extra vassal opinion with people of our faith. Everyone in our realm, I think, is Catholic, so this, get the prestige. We'll go with high anointment for the piety. Again, I the first one didn't need because I don't think there are people of other faiths in our realm, and the second one just we're already at plus 100 with that, our archbishop, so no need to do that. Help if I can click the right button. Can we ensure peace? No. So ensure peace is my favorite. Yeah, ensure peace is my favorite oath. I don't really like any of these. Secure alliances is incredibly difficult, functionally impossible, on very hard, where we can only propose one alliance, though other rulers can propose more alliances to us. I mean, shape the realm, okay. How long? 20 years? Guess we'll do shape the realm. on Shape the Realm. Let's go ahead and Florence. So again, we want gold. Florence, we want gold. So we will get the... Yeah, I think let's get the tax offices. Is there anything else that's really better? I often like military academies later, but now I really want to maximize our gold. So that's what we'll do. Get a couple of our buildings underway for our Shape the Realm oath. I'm surprised it didn't get offered Ensure the Peace. Ensure the Peace is very strong because if you complete it, you get +1 domain limit for the character's entire life. And all counties in your realm get 250 development, which is very powerful. Speaking of development, I think we'll go with this middle one here to increase the development of our realm. It's too bad we had these detractors, but there we go. I want to let this... Yeah, so as predicted, we have a 4th son that will mess up our succession a bit. We will fix that by creating another duchy here. It's a coin flip. We'll just try it. Okay. Took a long time just to do this. But it is more gold. It's probably just easier to hold grand tours. And not much reason to go to someone else's coronation. Curious how expensive a university visit is. I'm guessing horribly expensive is the answer. Yeah. Yep. Assume the Pope won't give us money. No. See, the reluctance is negative 115, so... Yeah. If we were another level of devotion, I think we need to be another level of devotion, and if we had a virtuous trait, then he would do it. If we were fighting infidels, I think he'd also do it. Other than that, probably not. So we've talked about wanting to hybridize, ideally with Swabian culture. Our Swabian. So two obvious options here are Crusader and Augsburg. Crusader looks like it's pretty weak here. So we will buy our claim on it. Could also serve as the 4th duchy we need for our son. We have another plague. Hopefully it doesn't reach our capital. Let's let our gold build up a little bit here. And then we'll go into Crusader. Okay. Gold's going to take a bit longer to build up now. Might as well try to make him Faithful Blade. Let's see here. Make sure he's within the language limit. Same thing here. See how this son's doing. I mean, you got temperate, that's great. Again, temperate is a great trait to have. Getting more vassals. Okay, it's a daughter. And we do still have this alliance. I mean, he's a fairly strong guy, so I think it's helpful to keep it. Okay. Maybe that was one of my coronation detractors. We could go pay homage to Robert. We're not going to give him anything. Just want the renown for doing this, really. Yep. Let's see, 75 renown, 150 prestige. This is our current son and heir, who that's not good. Hopefully he pulls through. Looks like our liege is attacking Byzantines again. Yeah, Byzantines are starting to look really rough. And just generally don't go to coronations of other rulers unless it's our liege. I just don't think you really get benefits from them. I do like going to grand tournaments, but it's more challenging when you're a woman. Can't participate in most events. Damn. Well, okay. That was our main heir. He was looking quite good. But nothing to be done now. We'll take over he's traveling, okay. Where are you? I'm sure you're okay. Well, wait until his other son travels back and make him this son, Enzo, make him our ward. And after that, we'll think about attacking Crusader up there. He's generous, okay. I mean, generous isn't the worst trait. You know, it is very helpful in managing vassals. He is currently a stewardship character, so he can take wealth focus to offset it. But try to educate these two as well as we can. Now we've lost our eldest son, unfortunately. You can see our succession looks the same because gained a son, then lost a son, so evens out. Take crazy here. I think I'll just out of an abundance of caution, let's call in our ally. I doubt, really doubt we'll need him, but you just never know. We should have stationed. Oh well. Okay, we'll see how this goes. So for this one, we don't want to be vengeful or deceitful because those are sins. So we will instead have him be calm. Calm is a relatively good trait. Finish swaying one of our vassals. We'll sway this guy next. When there's no one else that I really need to sway, just sway my powerful vassals. Okay, because my other oldest son died. That sort of freed up a spot, so to speak, in the number of children I can have, which as a king we have a maximum of 8. The way that works, as I understand it, is if you're below the limit on your children, then there's a chance you lay with your spouse each month, and then if you do lay with them, there's a chance that there's a pregnancy, which can lead to a child, obviously. But if you're at or above your limit, which for me looks like it's going to be 8, then you no longer lay with your spouse, and you won't have any other children automatically. There can be events where, because of the event you lay with your spouse, you could have extra children that way. So this, there's no alliance involved, no reason to do this. If there were an alliance, it would be more interesting. Okay, we become athletic. That's good. I'll take that. Yeah, we have 2 positive stress traits. Head down to attack their armies. Guess we can increase the amenities of our court here. Not by too much, but enough to get us over the threshold of what our people expect. I think I want administrative court here. Yep. Yeah, because yes, I mean a lot of benefits, and we're going to start promoting cultural acceptance with Swabians. So yeah, this is all good. I mean, scholarly isn't bad, but I'd just rather be administrative, or the bureaucratic, whatever it's called, administrative. We probably do want Matilda to live as long as she can. She's a very powerful character. Like before, she gets a lot of extra learning perks, so it's good to keep her around. Have her be strong. Not positive about this battle here. Let's see how it goes. Guess we're going to win, maybe. Or maybe we're not going to win. That is unfortunate. Man. Alright. I mean, our allies are up there, so... Obviously, this doesn't help. Okay, another duchy. Say that Emperor Robert is just an absolute machine in terms of conquering territory. Man, he is really going to town on people. It's going to be interesting whether his sons inherit, conquer his main, his primary heir. It's probably the biggest question in this run. If his primary heir doesn't inherit, conquer, then his realms and thus our realms become a lot more vulnerable. We'll take the lifestyle experience. Let's see, where is, okay, they're over here again. We just siege down Zurich, which will be all their territories, and that should end the war that way, instead of going over there to fight them again. Have to be a little bit careful about how many duchy titles we have. We are getting a lot. Don't really want to travel that far for the feast. So the King of Poland got excommunicated. Italia is just massive. I assume now he's trying to take over France. Yeah. So you can see here the Holy Roman Empire no longer exists. What often happens is that whatever realm has effectively displaced it will become the Holy Roman Empire. So we did say that Italia, either under Robert or one of his sons, I think likely to become the HRE. No guarantees, but that's what usually happens. That is that war. Have our steward here promote cultural acceptance with Swabian. Big purpose of doing this, it could be a while to get another grand tour. We will come up here to increase the cultural acceptance. But I think for now that's time to call the episode. Obviously, a lot of things went right in this episode. Us getting the kingdom title, getting a lot of vassals from Emperor Robert becoming just massively powerful. I would assume he is the most powerful ruler in the world at the moment. So the real question will be, what happens when he dies? Does his primary heir keep the conqueror trait? If he doesn't, will the realm hold together? I mean, it is mostly Catholic, so there shouldn't be a whole lot of religious dissension, but it just can't be sure. Thanks again for watching, and I hope you'll join me for the next episode. Thanks. Goodbye.